problem statement, okay, the objective, all right, and throughout the method and the conclusion. So none of the cases, 1 to 3, can be, you want to have a research, you want to do a research, you have to understand what is research, okay? And the definition could be different, but I think that everybody will say that if you want to do a research, you have to have everything. Okay, and in this case, the case 4, all right, is an example of research because the researcher went through a sequence of steps which were in order and thus systematic, did not just jump at conclusion, but used a scientific method of inquiry in reaching conclusion. Okay, so you've got everything here for the case 4. You've got the problem, you've got the objective, hypothesis, okay, the method, analysis, and reaching conclusion. So that is the research. So now, when you want to do a research, now you are a postgraduate student, and I think that most of you kind of rely some of this information, okay, rely on your supervisor to guide you on this. So what do you, usually that was also my case previously. So I came to do my PhD. So got a topic, right? So the first thing first, you've got to have a good problem statement. But then I was quite doing okay. You're not sure. Okay, I think this is a research, but I think it's good for you to understand what is research, what is the definition of research. That it needs to have all of this, right? And so that is the case. What is research? So what you will be studying, okay, what this lecture about is that at the end of this lecture, you will have a clear understanding of what is research and its systematic nature, and then to craft well-defined problem statement and better equipped to make informed choice regarding research design and data collection. So now that at the end of this, okay, you now you understand what is research, and it must have everything. Okay, it's not just the title, it's not just the method that you have to know. You have to create case of problem statement and objective and how they relate to the everything. So we will be looking at that, how maybe tips and tricks on how to get to that point, problem statement and the rest. And I hope that towards the end, you have the idea, overall idea, what is research methodology, okay, systematic nature, and how to create a good problem statement. I think I've already showed to you last week a bit about problem statement, but you may have more discussion on it, okay? And then to look at the other aspect of research methodology too, all right? So the outline is that we look at the understanding research basics, okay, type of research. Okay. Although that you know that research must have everything, but we have different types of research, and you can maybe classify it based on whatever that you are doing. Okay, and then writing problem statement, research design, and you can conclude everything. Okay, look at the first bit. Okay, understanding research basic. Okay, research is the logical and systematic search for new and useful information on a particular topic. And this is the normal definition. Maybe you went to the class and you get this kind of definition. You will get the same definition if you ask ChatGPT or maybe just Google. All right. So the point here is that you are doing research, and research is a systematic research. It's a systematic. You have to follow the process. You cannot jump. So I got the title, and I do the measurement first, and then come back to the problem statement and create the objective. You cannot do like that actually. Although that's what happened. Usually you have the title, and then you do the problem statement, do measurement, and suddenly your data is not valid with the objective. So what do? You change the objective. All right, so that's what happened most of the time, but this is still okay. Okay, but the truth is that you've got whatever that you've got different for your result, it will be the results. You don't have to change actually. It's just something that you found and you should just proceed. And so it is important that you follow the systematic method. You start with the problem and go to the others step by step. Then you just don't jump to the method. So, and then for new and useful information on a particular topic, this is another problem, right? That somehow, as a student, you come to the faculty, you want to do postgraduate study, you don't have any idea what you want to do. All right, so sometimes your supervisor will give you those, look at this title or this topic, this topic, this topic, and then yeah, all the topics are good, and then you cannot choose. So this is another problem, okay? But you have to be, you have to choose, because if you want to do research, you have to do the systematic search, okay? You got to have a topic. All right, so what they use the words why, what, how essentially summarize what research is, why it is an investigation of finding solution to scientific and social problems through objective and systematic analysis, how it is a search for knowledge, that is the discovery of hidden truth. So research is creating new knowledge. That is the thing. So if that topic already been studied, okay, you are just doing some research to confirm whatever that they found. It could be less impactful, but it's still a research. For example, of the general manager, even though this general manager, he didn't apa, uh, they undergo the PG student, as professor student, did something that is research. So research is not just at university. Actually, if you are at industry, you are still doing the research. You solve problem, any manufacturing problem, it is a research. You can apply the process of research. Okay, such as the general manager, got a problem statement. The problem statement given by who? By the people who are doing the work, right? Maybe at the technicians over there found that got a problem, of course, right? So that is where research starts. You got a problem, and then you got the objective, and straight to the you have to do the methods and do analysis and everything towards the conclusion. That is a research. It's just not happening. It happened in the industry, not in the university. It's just that university you're doing lots of new knowledge, you create new knowledge lots so that may be what makes us different. So what is research again? Systematically, carefully, and thoroughly. So to do research is to investigate the problem systematically, carefully, and thoroughly. Research is an organized, systematic, database, critical, scientific inquiry or investigation into a specific problem undertaken with the objective of finding this answer for solution to it. So we have to set in mind, okay, since you are still postgraduate student, you are going to deal with research, you have to set in your mind. We have to do this systematically. Okay, we have to have the problem. If you don't have the problem, you have to find the problem. All right, and then we have to look at the objective and do the other steps. At some point, maybe you have to evaluate back again your problem and your objective, but that is a different case. First of all, you have to have a problem. You have to set in your mind that is the case. So what makes people do research? Fundamentally important questions. No person would like to do research unless there are some motivating factors. Okay, we got some pictures over here. Because of money, because of good idea, because of your family, because of the degree itself. So you should have some motivating factors when doing research. For me, I think I want to help the community. So my research is I will tailor to something that can help in the community. I'm doing mechanical vibration. We're studying about how human is affected by vibration and sound. And then whatever that we found, we will convey it to the community and they can use it for their benefit. So maybe that is the case for me. So you have to have a motivation. Okay, so some of the following are here. And some students undertake research without any aim, possibly because of not being able to think of anything else to do. I hope this is not you guys, right? So you got to have motivation, got to have a reason why you want to do research. So that is so please find motivation. Okay. So such student can also become good researcher by motivating themselves toward a respectable goal. Right. If you look at research degree, so imagine a circle that contains all human knowledge here. Okay. By the time you finish elementary school, you know this bit. You have some knowledge. It's a really small bit. And then as you finish your high school, you gain more knowledge. Okay. And when you do bachelor degree, you already gain some specialty. So it's not a general knowledge anymore, but you're looking at a specific direction. Okay. And then you're doing master and you go further. So you go further. And so, but still within the boundary of human knowledge. Okay, the doing master, that is the key. So reading research papers takes you to the reach of human knowledge. Once you are at the boundary, you focus, okay, and push the boundary until one day the boundary gives away, and that is your PhD. Actually, PhD. Right? So don't think that you've got to solve all problems here in the world because you are doing this small bit, right? So even your general knowledge is not that much, right? It's just this big, this big. Your general knowledge will be this big. But lots of very vast knowledge in the world, you will not be able to get everything. Okay, you will read something, or this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. You cannot solve everything. So that is something that you have to be aware. Otherwise, you are going to be circling something. So you read this, I think this is good. And then, well, this is another problem. Why don't I just do this? And then as you do your method, okay, you do the operation, the test. Why don't I just do these parameters too? So you just add, right? You see that it's going to be really messy, all right? Because the thing is, you actually, the PhD is actually this, but maybe after this you can have a deep if you want to, all right? You cannot do, the point is that you cannot do everything, okay? You know what is research? Research is systematic. You have a problem. You already set the problem. You already set the objective, the hypothesis, and the method. So either okay, but not everything. This time around. So that is the case. So of course, the word looks different to you now. If you are doing PhD, as for me, say, I did my PhD on something new. Yeah, but this is something new. Okay, for me, for other people, maybe it's not that. You got to be aware that is this, right? So of course, the word looks different to you now, but don't forget the bigger picture. You have to be aware of that. So it's good to have motivation. It's good to understand what is research and follow it systematically, so that you so that you are trained to be a researcher, and later once you are graduated, the world does not stop there. Okay? You can apply your understanding at somewhere else. Okay, two important characteristics of research. So first is systematic, as I've already mentioned many times. Research is systematic because it follows certain steps that are logical in order. So these steps are understanding the nature of problem to be studied and identifying the related area of knowledge, reviewing literature, collecting data, analyzing data, drawing conclusion, and making generalization. So you are going to do this, and it should be systematic and step by step. You cannot just jump to do the data collection first, and then do analysis and come back to the problem. Right? That's not work like that. Maybe in your case, you can still formulate the problem. You jump and then formulate the problem, but that is something that should happen. Okay. So, right? Because maybe that is okay here because you're doing research, because you're post-graduate research. But in reality, if you go out, all right, you become a researcher outside, you work in institute or you work in somewhere else, the academics too, you've got to follow your steps, right? You want to solve problem. It's not just a paper, it's not just something that you will find. It's about pushing the boundary, okay? Pushing the boundary. So the second characteristic will be follows a scientific method. So we've got deductive reasoning, and then you've got inductive reasoning. Okay. So this means that it makes an integrated use of deductive and inductive reasoning. This makes it very useful for explaining and predicting phenomena. The basic assumption of scientific method is that every aspect has a cause. Okay. So what is inductive reasoning? Okay. Or deductive reasoning. So in deductive reasoning, thinking proceed from general assumption to specific application. So here, if we look here, at the top here, deductive reasoning. You develop a theory. So you develop a theory, okay? And then you formulate hypothesis, and you collect and analyze data, and then you accept or reject the hypothesis. So this is deductive reasoning, in which many of you will be doing this. Many of you, okay, I'm not saying all. Some of you might be looking at a different kind of research, but most of you will be doing it. So you develop theory, formulate hypothesis, collect and analyze data, and accept or reject hypothesis. That is deductive reasoning. The inductive reasoning is that it comes from specific to general. Okay. The previous one is general to specific. You've got a theory. Let's say that force is equal to mass times acceleration. It's a general theory. You apply it to a specific problem. Okay. And then you formulate hypothesis, test, okay, and come up with some conclusion. The inductive reasoning is that you start with specific to a general one. Okay. So what you can see here is that you observe a phenomena. Okay. You analyze patterns and themes, you formulate relationship, and you develop theory. So here is like the famous story of Isaac Newton. I'm not sure it's true or not. That happens that the apple goes goes to the head, and then he observes the phenomena that something is falling. Okay. And that is observed phenomena. And do some analysis, okay, analyze patterns, all right, patterns and themes. You put more weight, what happened to the time taken, okay, and so on, okay, and formulate relationship, and lastly, develop theory. So the theory at the end will be a general theory, general means that everybody can use from a specific problem, which is just get involved. That is about gravity, yeah, that's about gravity. So you've got deductive and inductive. So deductive reasoning example, all spiders have 8 legs. The tarantula is a spider, therefore tarantulas have 8 legs. So this is deductive. Okay, from this problem to this the end. From the general, so this is general, all spiders have 8 legs. Okay, and then you look at specific problem. In this case, tarantula. It is a spider, and therefore tarantulas have 8 legs. So inductive, penguins are birds, penguins can't fly, therefore all birds can't fly. Okay, so this is a problem. Okay, and this is what you observe. This is a problem, and then you come up with some general statement that all birds can't fly. So objective of research is that you've got to solve problems of interest. These problems may be of theoretical or practical in nature. The scientific community tends to be more interested in research that pushes the frontier of knowledge. Aim of research should be to describe, predict, explain, interpret, or demystify phenomena. Okay. All right. So now we look at type of research. So we have looked at understanding of research basic. We have looked at the definition. Okay, deductive. All right. And now we are looking at type of research. So what the type? So is there any difference between research method and research methodology? Okay. Research methods are the various procedures, schemes, and algorithms used in research. All the methods used by a researcher during a research study are termed as research methods, including theoretical procedures, experimental studies, numerical schemes, statistical approaches. Research method helps us collect samples, data, and find a solution to a problem. Okay, so what you can see here is that this is something that you undertake, right, to solve a problem, the procedure itself. Okay, maybe you have the objective. Okay, maybe you have the conclusion out of it, but we still call it as research methods. So what is research methodology? Okay, research methodology is a systematic way to solve a problem. It is science of studying how research to be carried out. Essentially, the procedures by which researchers go about their work of describing, explaining, and predicting phenomena are called research methodology. So methodology here is more general. It covers everything, okay, including the methods, including the problem, how to create a problem, how to create the objective, okay, analysis, and maybe comparison, critical analysis with other findings, okay, and towards the end, which is conclusion and recommendation and suggestion. So aim is to give the work plan of research. So is the research always problem solving based? Okay, that's the case, because you got the problem statement. You don't have the problem, then it is quite meaningless to get all the data. Okay, I think the process of getting data for in Malaysia, we got a Department of Statistics, okay, for which they just find the data, okay, and put it inside of the cloud, and people can access it for various purposes. We do research again, I think, but they are doing it for the sake of to just put data. So they are not doing research, they are doing something else in the Department of Statistics. So in Malaysia, we can go to the site of Department of Statistics, you can get all the data. Okay, many data, the economy, the gender, who was staying there, what their salary. Okay, you can get all the data, but they're not doing research because they don't have any specific problem. Okay, they can solve. Okay, so maybe some of the postgraduate students they have a specific problem, get the data, do analysis of the data, come up with conclusion. That is research, even though the data is coming from Department of Statistics. So that is the difference between research. Okay? And then it can be divided into 5 categories. All right. So first, fundamental research, pure research, or basic. Then you've got applied research, exploratory research, development research, research, design research. If you use ChatGPT, you can get more. Okay. This may be the common one. The common one that that many PG students are doing. Okay. So first of all, basic pure fundamental research. So refers to original investigation for the advancement of scientific knowledge that do not have specific objective application to practical problems. Okay. Devoted to achieving knowledge or understanding rather than practical application. Experimental theoretical work undertaken primarily to acquire new knowledge of underlying foundation. So all of them, maybe you can just summarize as fundamental things that you study to know how things works. Okay, so you've got something. Okay, maybe there are lots of factors affecting that thing. So you study one factors at a time, and at the end of the day, you know which one is prominent, which one is not, which one can affect this parameter, which one cannot affect this parameter. So you know all everything. What the underlying phenomena. Okay, so that is fundamental research. If you're doing that, okay, basically the outcome may not be in the form of application that you can use directly. Okay, for example, you know that the water is affected by heat. Okay, for example, as you increase the time, okay, the water will change to steam and whatever. So that is the phenomena that you learn and you change the parameters and percent. But the application may be that what happens to the water after that, that you can sell it, maybe there's direct application. What else? Is the boiled water can be used for to clean up this thing? Okay, so that is direct application. You want to know if this water can use to clean up that surface, for example. So the application is that after you study that, you know that it is yes or it is not, then straight away change. So that is different between fundamental research and other research. So fundamental research focus on the phenomena, okay, the primary theoretical work. All right, look at applied research. Okay, so applied research to solve a particular problem faced by a particular organization. Okay, example here, Proton is a car manufacturer in Malaysia. Wants to know why Produa is gaining market share in Malaysia. So the problem is very specific. And focus on the Produa. Why Produa? Because it's another car manufacturer. Why they are gaining market share. Very focused. Not the overall direction of automotive sector. That's different. So this is a specific one. Okay. How would you imposing a new IT-based performance appraisal system affect employee satisfaction at UPM? So this is very specific too. Okay. Very focused on this imposing a new IT-based performance appraisal system. Okay. So you focus on that. How international student perceive service quality of UPM library. So what else? Applied research. In your skills doing teknologi agriculture. Teknologi pertanian. So what kind of study that you can do in relation to applied research? Example. Maybe what kind of parameters affecting packaging of watermelon. Focus on watermelon, you focus on the packaging. Okay, and then look at the factors that affect this packaging for the watermelon. So that means that you study the packaging of the watermelon. So you want to send this watermelon to somewhere else, very far away. So it wants to be very good, that it can make sure that the watermelon keep fresh at the location time. So in this case, you are focusing on that, and that means that after you study, you know, and you can straight apply. Okay. You can do another bit generic study about packaging. Okay, that falls under fundamental study. Okay, that you don't focus on watermelon, you're focusing on some solving the problem as general as you can. Okay, so applied research is more like that. So then, so under applied research, you can have basic research, generating knowledge, understanding of phenomena, problems that occur in various organizations. I think. And then you can have applied research, solving current problems, practical problems. To differentiate applied research and basic research. Okay. Research done chiefly to enhance the understanding of certain problems that commonly occur in organization setting and seek method of solving them is called basic or peer research. Research done with the intention of applying the results of the finding to solve specific problem currently being experienced in the organization is called applied research. Okay. As the example that I've given to you, okay, for the teaching of the watermelon, then it is quite straightforward. It is an applied research. So the third one is exploratory research, aims to clarify concepts and problems closely allied to underlying basic research in which there is an objective. It is often-ended, looking for something which might form the basis for a successful research project. In this case, example study into the implication of COVID-19. It's a bit general, right? Pandemic in the global economy. It can be anything, right? So you just explore. Okay. For fundamental research it can be a bit focused, okay, to a certain things. And you do apply, it is more focused than the fundamental research. You're focusing on watermelon, okay, for example. But exploratory, you have a very generic topic. And your idea is to explore. Okay, when you explore, you've got to go to all sides. Okay, you've got to find this information, all sides. Which the idea is to find out the implication of topic, not just. So in this case, it's global economy. So we talk about economy. We talk about what? Many things, right? From the market, okay, from the health part perspective also of economy. So you go to all sides. You don't just focus on specific direction, which is quite a big topic. And usually this is like a grant, very large grant that you got all the bits down there. You study this, you study this, you study this, because you want to explore. Okay. And the fourth one is development research, systematic use of scientific knowledge directed towards the production of useful material, devices, systems, or methods. So basically, this is a you want to develop something. Okay. Product development, process development. Have you seen any papers related to development research? Create something? Maybe I can share. I just have class yesterday about product design. Okay. Okay, this paper maybe I can share with speed. Not sure if I can see. Okay, so this paper is about developing using trees method to apply for product development. Okay, and using trees, you can have all the methods, blah blah blah. So at the end of the day, it come out with some example of, to solve a problem which is about product design for pizza package. So this paper, I think it's not just about to design this. Maybe the idea of this paper is to show how this method can be used to design something. But if you see that there is a process or problem, okay, so you got a problem that this pizza is not fresh anymore as put in the package for a very long time. You want to maintain the freshness of the pizza, the thickness. Right? So to maintain that, you got problems, and then you go to all the trace method, discuss, design, study what voice of customer and everything. And at the end, you got this kind of design, okay, and you can produce the outcome, okay, in terms of maybe analyze in terms of the freshness of the pizza over time. So there could be some parameters over here and everything, and you come up with the end design of parameters. So this is something like development research as we have for our slides. Okay, that's an example. Okay, this is yours. Right? This is activity. Is it? Because mine is engineering based. So is there anybody who are doing something related to packaging? Okay. Ada? Nobody. So most of you are doing what? Sorry? Waste management. Waste management. So do you have any delivery people in development study the waste management? No. Design of something. Maybe you know that this material can absorb certain kind of element, and it is really important to be applied in a plant, for example. Charcoal, okay, and used to extract from when we got some waste uh, in a plant. We use charcoal to filter something gases. Is this so you study to develop some kind of system using charcoal to do that. So you have to know what is the length, what's the size, what's the flow or gas flow, whatever. And that could be development. Alright. So at the end got some products which can tailor the problem. So, it's really different than applied research. That you study all the parameters and then from there you focus. Development is something after that. So we already know it generally, speaking, but yeah, you can come to back to the applied research. Yeah, will be. I walk here, maybe you guys can see me and see the slide, see whatever I see. Azan. Okay. So that is development research. Is development research. So it is also including process development. Okay, process development, right? So uh, quite difficult, for example, we have this just like this one. Okay, next one is design research. Okay, here research directed at cost performance. Okay, cost performance. Improvement to existing products, processes, system, recommendation, modification, and existing knowledge, or opening new markets for existing products. Your research for the parts and component research. Okay, so I think this one is quite straightforward. Looking at designs. If you develop a new rig, okay, for some testing, that could be design. As for my students, we are looking at studying material comfort, material dynamic statements for comfort analysis. Okay, after that, we develop a rig. Okay, and that rig is for testing or to measure dynamic statements. So the development of the rig could be one of the aspects of the goal of the overall study. It may not be the main one, okay, because that is just a rig to for you to for him to be able to measure specific parameters. Okay, but it can be one of the objective, okay, and it can fall under the design. Okay, but I've seen some PhD they're doing design, they're focusing on design to solve a very general problem. That design is to be general. It's not like you can use it for many things. Okay, meaning that it has some impact. That's the reason why that can be a PhD. Maybe if you are looking at a master study, maybe less impact. So you've got design for specific problem. For PhD, it's not just specific problem. Anything problem related to that area. So it can be a PhD study. It can be still research, meaning that it goes all the procedures, like problem statement, objective activity. But when we're talking about PhD, okay, in design, okay, you have to make sure that it is an impactful design. For example, I think if at our university, if you're doing this part, you have to have at least a patent, meaning that it is a new thing, a unique that nobody is doing. Solve something. Okay. So to get patent is a bit difficult, right? So that means that your design is very unique that it solves something. So that is design research. So research process. So again, if you look at all, you will see that you will have this kind of circles. Okay. The question. So you got a new knowledge, okay, other form of communication, but then when you read, get another questions. And then it goes to what is known and what is not, formulate problem, hypothesis, project plan, experiment, collect data, analyze results, interpretation, conclusion, new knowledge, then these come back to question. Right? But if you already finished your PhD, you don't just go to the new side. Maybe you should continue your life or whatever you want to do. Alright, otherwise it's a never-ending thing. Okay, so that is the case. So major steps in the research outer circles and corresponding sections of the scientific paper will be in the inner circle. Okay, so we have known about the type of research. Look at the problem set. So at the top, okay, before you go to do the research, you got to formulate the problem. Okay? And if you see here, formulate problem, it comes from a question. A question in your head. So why this is the case? All right. And this comes from reading some knowledge, okay, reading some materials. And once you have the question, you are going to look at what is known and what is not, and then formulate the problems. So this part here will be the problem statement, okay, for requirement for you to have the problem statement. So we look at the next part, writing problem statement. So where do research topics come from? Experiences of practical problems in the field. Learn from those experiencing the issues in the field. Literature in your specific field. Request for proposal. Think up the research topics of their own. So these are maybe how your research topics come from. I'm not sure. Is it coming from your supervisor, your research topic? Or you got some idea and then you approach the supervisor and then if he or she is agree, then you can produce promoter. Dari supervisor. Supervisor. So basically the supervisor have project. Yeah, have a project and then you do the project. Do you have anybody who doing project that not coming from supervisor? Semua macam tu. Semua macam tu. So you guys agree with the topic? Yeah. Well, you don't have choice. Yeah, you don't have choice. You have to agree and do the topic. The supervisor are not here. Are they here? But yes, that is one way. The problems already been specified. So in this case, you are not going to do all this. The problem is been specified. You got the problem, you just have to spend it properly. But maybe one part of it is that one where you want to formulate the problem, you may want to know several things. But if you don't have the title, so how do you get the title? Okay. Maybe it can come from its literature, first or proposal, then or also from those experiences in technology. Okay, so question is how about yours? Right now we're not really coming from the supervisor. Okay, but you should ask the supervisor how they can get the maybe it is based on experience. Okay, maybe he or she went to industry. Okay, or went to industry, right? That's the question. Okay, and then you do some research. Maybe your supervisor already did the research, okay, and then did the proposal, get the grant, and that's why you don't have choice. Just follow. Okay. At least you should have the proposal. Do you have the proposal? You're being asked to do everything. So usually you got a problem, you get a grant. There should be a proposal, right? It's sent to request the money. If you don't have the money, then you can do research, right? Maybe you can pay, maybe you cannot pay on materials that you have. So most likely that they have the proposal already. Okay. And sometimes the supervisor will share to you and then you expand from it. Sometimes maybe the proposal is too not that deep that like, he or she might think that it's better for you to explore. Okay, which may be come up with much better problem statement. Okay, because they don't have the time to explore. Okay, got a problem. Okay, we have this problem, but not really that good, but still got the grant, got the money. Okay, so you should instead of giving you the proposal, okay, that you just put a mental block to your thinking that is the problem, and that's not follow. Instead of doing that, then you should explore first, get a problem statement, and compare with whatever that you or she has, and expand. So maybe that's the case, right? All right. So maybe you can ask how your supervisor how you get this kind of problem, right? Maybe you have something. Yeah, we say that yeah, I went to this industry and found this. Maybe there is more information for you, and that information you can use for the future. Okay. So what is a good problem formulation? So it must be interesting. So is your project interesting? Interesting enough for you to be here, right? So how long have you been here? Okay, any for more than 3 years? No, few months. But still motivated, I think, right? You can still motivated to complete. Anybody? 3 years? No. 2 years? 2 years, I think. Master maximum 2 years. All you guys are all in first year. But you have taken this course, or currently are taking the course. Teaching, yeah. I cannot cover everything. You just look at to motivate you to understand about what is research, right? 2 hours. So if you go to any other researcher that explain about research method, maybe the way that they explain will be different. You can get a different kind of ideas on how research is. So this is what I think that how research is. It is actually based on books, so it's not that different than people. So what is a good problem formulation? So it must be interesting. Keep the researcher involved in it throughout the research process. That is very important. If you cannot have motivation, you don't have the motivation to study that, seems that you are not going to end it, right? So that's what happened in many postgraduate. Halfway, gone. Halfway gone, right? I hope that it is not culture here. Maybe it's not culture here. That you have once you start and you will end it. Is it? You have to. You have to. No choice. No choice. No choice. Okay. Because in Malaysia, we got students who are doing it because not being sponsored by anybody. Okay, so he works in a company, okay, and come and got a problem. Want to do research about the problem. So at the same time, and halfway, okay. So we've got that a lot, okay, but there are a lot also finished their master of this. It's not a like culture, but still we've got some kids who have that kind of problem. So we try to make sure that that they understand what is research. Okay, they understand what is research and do something that they want. So first of all, must be interesting, not just for the supervisor, but also for the person that they taking it, you yourself. Right? Researchable. Okay, can be investigated through the collection of collection and analysis of data, in case study or other techniques. Is your research researchable? If the answer is yes, then it's good. Right? You know where's the end, right? So, okay, I think I have to do this, to measure this, do this analysis, and you know, it's researchable. If you cannot answer this, right, then you are still in the problem formulation. Yes, you don't have any ideas. How can I solve? What is the method? You might need some knowledge. You have to go to classes about it so that you have the knowledge and then you know, oh, this is this. Otherwise, you're stuck. Okay, you're doing something messy. Just measurement. Actually, this is not related to this, but you still do it because you don't have any knowledge. So it must be researchable. Not then you have to find knowledge. Yeah, we will go to that one. It must be researchable, understandable, and logically built up. So, so this is another problem. Okay, that we have students who jump to the methods, okay, do the measurement, and come back to the problem formulation and try to fit the outcome to the problem and to the objective. You should start from problem, okay, in which you have to logically build it. Okay, you got the introduction. This is the area. You got the problem. Okay, what is the problem? You have to be able to explain the problem properly and lead to the objective. The objective must be consistent with the problem and the introduction, and then I'm sure that the others will just follow. If you don't have the problem, you have the objective, you start with the method. So what can what could possibly happen, right? It can be anything, right? And and suddenly some people already studied about it, okay? And then your results, suddenly it is not something weird happened to the result. The value should be this value, but you got a different kind of value. It's that you are in wrong side, right? So many things can happen, right? If you have done it logically build it up, you understand it, you do the literature towards the end. I'm sure that your percentage for you to complete everything will be higher. Okay? Of course, it will it's also uh, with the help of Allah, which you got but put some effort in it. So logically, there must be understandable, okay, manageable, okay. So that's why I just put here, pick the level, researchers level of research, needed resources and time research. Level of researchers, level of research required. You see here, but the knowledge that you have. If you don't have knowledge about that, you will be asked to do that, then it's a God case, right? Unless you go to seek the knowledge, it will take some more time, maybe another year. But if that is the case, you really want to know this topic, then you got to get the knowledge. And the second year, maybe you just start the work. So if that is the case, then that is the path you should go. Okay, manageable. And per school. Establishes cooperation between researcher and businesses, which should lead to economical and practical development of both sides. So how to start? So I've given you some some information about good problem formulation. So how to start? So how much? The question first is that how much do you know about the areas of? For me, maybe I have to seek more information because my background is mechanical, doing more towards economic study, okay, about structure, okay, about a bit more about mechanical aspect. But if you want to go to waste management, wastewater, different kind of things, not in the field. So if I ask this, how much do you know about the areas of topic? I don't do less. Okay? And if it is not much, what do you have to do? You got to learn. You have any fun. Still want to do that, right? Unless you do not want to do that topic, you go to change the topic. Okay. So even for me, okay, even though I'm trained as a mechanical engineer, I want to do my PhD work, I still have to learn. Okay, because we're talking about something that is advanced. Okay, you look at the knowledge of in the universe, whatever you have learned is very small in the center, right? If you want to go to that route, you still have to learn. And towards the end, then push the boundary. So you still have to learn that. You cannot just rely on whatever that you know during your bachelor. Okay. So if you have no ideas at all, then go take some normal class, formal class. If you already have some ideas about it, you need some more information, you need to pull it up, right? Then review literature to learn more. Okay. Here the way is that you find some review paper that everything's there. Okay. And starting from there, you branch out. But you have to find a review paper that is really related to okay, so if you have some, if your knowledge in that area is good, then can you describe the issues, problems discussed in another kind of ways for you to rate yourself? You actually know about it, or you have actually no idea this. Right. So the question is that if you can do this, then you are at a good position, okay, to study about that topic. If not, then you have to learn more. Okay. So how to set up a problem formulation? First, you've got to choose an area. Okay. And in this faculty, I think you've got three kind of areas, right?
different kind of study. It's not like us in engineering, you're doing mechanical, focus on mechanical. You're doing chemical, yeah, you are in the communication, the electrical area, you can do this. But I think in this sector, all, right? So some of you might be doing something with data analysis, big data, IoT. Some of you might be something about chemical, wastewater, and things related to that. Some of you might be looking at some structure, packaging. We study that for us too, for mechanical. Okay, it is a combination of several fields. Okay, at my university, we have food process engineering, got biological and agriculture engineering. So those two actually combine several lecturers of different fields. Okay, so you got to choose area. And your own interest is your most essential motivational factor. Brainstorm techniques, be creative, be open to new ideas. And then once you choose an area, you narrow it down. Be critical, determine whether the information already exists. Think, what is the problem? Why is it a problem? And who is it a problem for? And then divide the broad areas into sub areas. Okay? And in your case, you should do the same, even though you've already got the title. Okay, you have to know what is the area. Okay? Within that area, lot of branch. Okay? Which branch are you in? Okay? You should know. Okay? And do the same. All right? What is the problem? What is it a problem? Who is it a problem for? Same question that you should ask. And then write the problem formulation, raise research questions, sub questions, understanding language. Start about this language, English language, the language of that research. Okay. So for mechanical, we've got our own language. Talking about gears, about vibration, about structure, part mechanism. So we're talking about the language. Clearly delimited, okay, and determine whether questions can be answered. Step 4, double check everything. Ask yourself the question if you are satisfied with your problem formulation. Remember, in any case, to always justify why you choose exactly the problem formulation rather than other possible problems formulation. This is important. Right? Why you choose exactly the problem formulation rather than other possible problem formulations. Right? So I guess you already have the title, you already know the problem. Maybe you have to mix, you have to adapt, you have to find out. Maybe you should do the same and see if it fits you, if it fits the problem. If not, then maybe you can expand the problem to do something that you should. Okay. We have more time, so 20 minutes. Do you know when you see a problem, looking at a problem or seeing a problem? Okay. This is another important aspect that you should ask yourself. You got a problem. Are you seeing it? Are you looking at the problem? Or are you seeing a problem? So you got a title, okay? Or this title is about study investigate factors of influencing this. Okay. Are you looking the problem as I think you know that this is a problem. Okay, and then there's who and sick, okay, or you actually know the root cause of this one. This is just C. Okay, agree. But seeing a problem, not just about that, you already know D, okay, for the process. So you can ask yourself. So motivation, writing a clear problem statement to define and guide an inquiry is a problem. The issue is how to write problem statement becomes important. Finding a research problem is the driving factors. I had 99 problems, so I learned about problem prioritization. Now I have 100 problems. So here, search. Your search returns 0 results. Research that moment when not even Google knows what you're talking about. I Google. Motivation. So if you search, nobody's been doing it, okay? that can help you. So, the problem statement from research topic to research problem. Okay. So research topic is very small. Okay. Research problem. Okay. So you've got to see in this way, lah. Okay. Okay, so look at problem statement is a description of a difficulty of or lack that needs to be solved, or at least research to see whether a solution can be found. It can also be described as either gap between real and desired, or a contradiction between principle and practice. Establishes importance, interest, attention. The ultimate goal of a problem statement is to transform a generalized problem, okay, something that bothers you, a perceived lack, into a targeted, well-defined problem, one that can be resolved through focused research and careful decision making. So topic selection, consideration, personal interest, organization support, ethical issues, relevance of the study, contribution, the field, time constraint, breadth and scope, and economic factors. Okay. You can find from many places, okay, here journals, conferences, recommendations about future research, courses, workplace, can be anything. Shown to you last week about get the papers. There is one way. So to write problem statements, first of all, you write the first bit, which is the ideal case. So ideal is this describes a desired goal or ideal situation, explain how things should be. Okay. So if you have a problem, for example, the pizza problem, okay, the best case is that the pizza can stay fresh, okay, at all times. You want to give them the customer today, tomorrow, next week. So that's the ideal case, that this box can hold the pizza at all times and maintain the freshness. That is the ideal case. The reality describes a condition that prevents the goal, state, or value in part A from being achieved or realized at this time. Explain how the current situation falls short of the goal or ideal. So in reality, you can design any box, but after 1 week, it will not be fresh. Okay. But you can extend from 1 day to 2 days to 3 days. So you have some problems. Maybe I should make a box that can at least maintain the freshness within 1 day. Okay. But in reality, should be like that. Okay. So the problem is that you cannot have that. The other case is not true. You never get that. The problem is that after 1 hour, you can fresh. Okay. Fresh. So part C, the consequences, identifies the way you propose to improve the current situation and move it closer to the goal or ideal. So as I told you, for the pizza case, that we may not be able to achieve all time, okay, or maybe 1 week. Maybe we can achieve at least until the pizza can get it to the customer, which can be like 2 hours or 3 hours. Okay. So in this case, I want to design something that can achieve that, okay, using a method. In that case, it's this method, and we see how it comes from. And is it good or is it not? Okay. So this is how you write concept. And you see that it is related, right? So ideally, this is a piece. What is the current issue? In this part B, it can be 1 page. You have to make a case, right? It can be 1 page, but usually not more than 2 pages. Okay, 2 pages is probably long. Maybe 1 page. And then you have to make sure that at the end of the problem statement, you give some ideas of how this can be solved. This can be solved. Okay. So that is where you have the objective. So in this objective, all right, you can imagine. I want to try with trees, and trees have been shown to be able to solve certain design problem. That is a case for the pizza case. And so the objective is to what? Explore the use of trees to solve this problem for example. So you see how it consistent with the system of this. from problem formulation to objective. If it is disconnected, okay, you see that the reader, the examiner, or even you will have some problem when you read it. How this problem is connected to the objective? Why suddenly is trees? You have to say somewhere in the problem statement that you want to use trees in the past. Okay, so that is the case. If you now you put the problem, right? You have to formulate. So you can write it like this. So the ideal case, the reality, and consequence. So you should have the way to solve it. You got a problem, you should have the idea to solve it. If not, then you have to find more knowledge. Okay? Because you don't know. You don't know how to solve it. Okay? The reason why you want to do research may be that you already know, maybe this is something that you can use to apply to solve the problem. You cannot just go to all expect. Otherwise, your PG will not be 2 years. Okay? Maybe more. Okay? So you're not talking about that anymore because you already know the problem. So so the idea is to just follow right now. But you have to make sure that you also understand the problem and write it. So you've got problems here. We start 20 minutes late. We finish with 50 minutes late. So ideal case here, according to this university mission statement, the university seeks to provide students with safe, healthy learning environment. Okay, dormitories are one important aspect of that learning environment. Since 55% of ex-students live in the campus dorm, and most of these students spend a significant amount of time working in their dorm. So this is the ideal case. Okay, that university seeks to provide students with safe, healthy, and learning environment. So it cannot just be one sentence. Must have some extension. And then you do example. This is for reality. Part B. Students living in dorms currently do not have air conditioning during hot season. It is common for room temperature to exceed 30 degrees Celsius. Many students report that they are unable to do homework in their dorm rooms. Others report problems sleeping because of humidity and temperature. So this is the problem. Okay. You've got ideal case, students safe, healthy learning environment. The problem is that it's hot. Okay. So what is the solution? In this response to this problem, the study proposes to investigate several options for making the dorms more hospitable. Right? The study plans to carry out an all-inclusive participatory investigation into options for purchasing air conditioner and different types of air conditioning system. The research will consider less expensive ways to mitigate some or all of the problems noted above, such as creating climate control dorms, okay, equipping them with better study areas and the rest. So you see on the last part, you kind of provide some solution, possible way to apply the solution. Okay, and so then leads to the objective. Okay, then leads to the objective. So this could be one way for you to write the problem statement. I think that if you write, you don't have to write the ideal, the reality and the consequences. You just have to write it in the 3 paragraph, and you see that it can be just one page, right? And maybe something of a graph, okay, just expand up your case and the solution, another last paragraph, okay, which can help people understand the problem and how you want to undertake to solve the problem. Okay, so hypothesis give insight, testable, measurable. Okay, each of these is matched with specific aim and its rationale. And then it comes to research objective. In order to answer the research question, in general, research objective describe what we expect to achieve from the project, find the focus, and the rest. Okay. So when you want to write, so now you've got the problem statement. Okay. Now it comes for the research objective. So how do you want to write the research objective? You write it first. You can write it like this. Okay. First of all, you can write the general objective. This will be the main objective. the thing that you want to solve, which is directly related to the problem statement in the last part of the problem statement. So you can say that hence this study aim to explore the aim to design, okay, and test packaging for pizza, okay, using trees method. So to achieve this, there are other specific objectives. First is to this, second is to this, and third. So when people read or when your examiner read, wherever people read it, you know that this the general objective will be the aim of the study. For the pizza case, I want to have a pizza case. So at the end, I have to have this pizza case. How to achieve that? That you got different kind of objective. Maybe you want to evaluate, you got three design, evaluate, whatever, and that will be under specific. Okay, but general objective would be must be related to the problem. Okay. All right, we actually got like 10 slides. Maybe we should just go a bit quickly here. We are already 5 minutes. Maybe you can stop at 12. We started late, yeah? So sorry about that. Research idea. Okay, so this is pre-production, research design, pre-production. Collecting data, production, analyzing, and publication process will be post-production. So your problem formulation, whatever here, it is pre-production yet. You are not going to the production yet, you are in the pre-production. But this part is the most important. Otherwise, this part will be quite messy and messy. So literature search, pick up topic, translate topic into questions and hypotheses, select research design, determine procedure, determine sample, collecting, analyzing, and publication. So we're not going to the production and post-production. We are focusing only on these two aspects for this section. So basic steps in conducting research: select field of interest, identify, review, aims, research design, okay, data collection, and technical writing. So this research design is at the center of conducting research. What is research design? Okay. So that is before, that is after. So now at this point you should have aim and objective, but you have to plan how this study is to be undertaken. This is the point. Okay. So research design. Okay. You've got research if it is approved. Okay, and then you've got a research strategy, data collection, sampling, instruments development, and data collection and preparation. The research design is a systematic plan to study the problem. So you can ask what, where, when, who, which, how, why. Summarizing the procedures for conducting a study, including when and under what condition the data will be obtained. This is to specify a plan for the evidence. And the rest, okay. So what research design? Okay, answer. What is the study about? Why is the study being made? Study being carried out? What type of data is required? Where can the required data be found? How many samples? How will the data be analyzed? So you see, before that, you've got the problem. You've got the objective. Okay. Now you've got the plan. Okay. So you know the method. If it is trees, then you know it is trees. Okay. And you know how trees will apply. You know how once you apply, what data you have to measure. Okay. You know how many samples. So here is the research design, which is quite important. Okay. If this is not tallying with the objective, then you've got a different kind of output. Okay. So yield maximum information. This is good research design. Okay. I think read this sometime. Check one by one. So I think you got the idea. Data valid and verifiable. Researchers specify limits. Examine data critically. Help organizing one's ideas. Avoid collecting unnecessary data. This is important. Okay. So I told you, you don't have the problem. You don't have the objective. You start with method straight. You are going to measure everything. Okay. Will take some time. Your results not good. Okay. Come back to the problem. Then there's no problem actually. All right. So if you have the objective, the problem statement, and then you do the research design, you will avoid collecting unnecessary data. You know that temperature will not affect it because you already read it. It's not your problem. Why do you have to know the temperature, for example? Okay, so there's the case. So experimental design, okay, experimental design involves trial, preliminary investigation. This is also true for source design. You are the person and then observation results must be carefully observed and recorded, include comments, systematic. The research is planned and done with purpose. Okay. So you can have research design that is quantitative, qualitative, or mixed method. This is something that I think common. Right? So quantitative is something like experimental and non-experimental. So experimental is true, experimental, okay, single subject, what's experimental. Non-experimental, descriptive, comparative, correlational, and survey. Qualitative, okay, you got interactive and non-interactive. So here you got concept analysis, historical analysis. Or on the other hand, on the interactive, you can have case study, grounded theory, critical studies, okay, and others. Which is actually more in that example. Mixed method, you can have mix of quantitative and qualitative. So you've got to have quantitative, and usually it is a fixed design. Okay, normally theory driven. Okay, for example, F is equal to N. So it's a theory, and based on that, we apply it for something else, for some problem that we have. Flexible design, qualitative, allow for more freedom during the data collection process. One reason for using flexible research design can be that the variable of interest is not quantitatively measurable, such as culture. In other cases, theory might not be available before one starts research. So you got the between quantitative and qualitative. So basically, you got a different kind of purpose, okay, to study relationship, cause, and effect, to examine phenomenon as it is. In rich detail, design, prior study. For qualitative, it can be flexible and evolve during study. So maybe you ask them about this. Oh yeah, why don't you guys measure that? So you help them because you know from this person, based on precedent. So you can evolve and on whatever you get. So approach deductive. As I told you, what's deductive? Basically from theory towards the end. Okay. Qualitative can be inductive. It may generate a new theory. You study about these people, you get a new theory that helps to understand whatever these people are doing. Two, use the pre-selected instrument. The researcher is primary data collection tool. Okay. Sample uses large sample, small sample. Statistical analysis of numerical data maybe requires some interpretation of quality. Okay. So you can have method of data collection to be adopted: primary data, observational design, operational design, sampling design, and statistical design. So one can split the overall research design into following parts. So you can write your research design like as this. This is just a guidance. Primary data, secondary data collected and analyzed, observational, operational, sampling. So important concepts is research hypothesis, dependent variable, independent variable, and external variable. What is this? External. Research hypothesis, you know? What is research hypothesis? How do you create a hypothesis? How do you create a hypothesis? Here, kita ada cakap you actually hear. So research hypothesis, how do you have the research? So you have to have the objective, right? It comes from where? Literally. But it must be within your study, right?
Yes.
So it must be specified somewhere first. But is it research hypothesis come first or objective first? Research question can be before objective. You are asking yourself, okay, and then comes the objective. Maybe. But hypothesis must be maybe comes from the objective. You have to specify objective. I want to know about this. Is it the same or is it not? I want to know about this. Is it the same or is it not? Then you have the hypothesis. That you got the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis and do the rest. Yeah. This is true, eh? It's not just for qualitative. For quantitative, also you should have some hypothesis. Okay. So and then you in that in the study you may have dependent variables, okay, independent variable, okay, and other variables, control variables. So a research hypothesis, I think you already learned about it. So definition of various author, a research hypothesis is specific, clear, a testable proposition or predictive statement about possible outcome of a scientific research. A formal statement that presents the expected relationship between independent variable and the dependent variable. And then you've got here example, okay. Independent variable that is varied or manipulated by the researcher. Dependent variable response that is measured. Okay, so that you've got to have some objective. You want to study how this affects this, and you know this is independent, this is dependent variable. Okay, so you got example there, but yeah, just don't have that time to discuss about this very carefully. And then experience variable, independent variables that are not related to the purpose of the study, but may affect the dependent variable, are termed as experience variable or control variable. Okay. Example, the researcher wants to test the hypothesis that there is a relationship between method of compaction and the air void distribution within the sample. Compaction method is IV, and air void will be the DV. More confinement may as well affect the air void distribution, but since it is not related to this purpose group, it will be termed as DV, or control variable. Study must be always designed so that effect upon DV is attributed entirely to the IVs and not to some DV. Okay, so brief. Research design must contain a clear statement, hypothesis, procedures, population or sample to be studied, and method to be used to process it. Factors, influences, research design, we are going to be close to the end. Okay. Time, machine, testing equipment, tools, budget. Okay, it's true, time is important. You want to solve something that can be really impactful, but require 10 years. But you're doing master. Is it okay or is it not? Of course, no, right? You have something else to do, right? So make sure that you can finish on time. Okay. Of course, if you got the money, you can be here for 10 years, why not, right? But you don't have that. Okay. That means that it affects the graph and that. Okay. Budget, you have budget. Okay, if not, then you have to think about it. So maybe something that requires some budget. You have to make sure that it is not much. Okay. Supervision, review, okay. Narrow investigation, number 2. Okay. Flowchart, Gantt chart. Why is flowchart, Gantt chart, and milestone and dates to influence decision? This is important for many projects that you have to have flowchart and Gantt chart. Okay. Because you will see where is your progress. Okay, you say that you want to finish in 2 years, but up until 3 semesters you are at the 10%. Okay, so that means that something is not something happens, right? Maybe you don't have the knowledge actually that you just circulate. Okay, in one point, you're doing something that you cannot get the answer, right? So if let's say that you're already behind like 20%, maybe you should look back what is actually happening. Okay? Is it the time that requires more? Then you have to change, and you have to be aware earlier. You cannot just be aware after 3 semesters. So you got to finish in 4 semesters. So you got to plan. So when creating your Gantt chart, masters provide an easy way to see important dates and advance. This allows others who view your Gantt chart to quickly see the big important dates. Okay, so flowchart. So I usually like to have the flowchart. Okay, in the maybe after you got the research design, okay, somehow sometimes the flowchart happens to be presented because yeah, this is the final flowchart. I just want to show the final flowchart. But actually, you got to discuss with your supervisor. Is this the true way to do this study? Okay, what's the step by step? If you don't have the flowchart, you show your flowchart that happens to be the final one, and suddenly, why didn't you do this at this point? So because we only discuss about what we did, right? And we, as supervisor, will discuss about that too, right? But if you don't show the flowchart, you just assume that you may have done that. Until towards the end, and suddenly, oh, we need to have this first before you do this. Then how can you remedy that? Sometimes you just have to do everything back again, which is really. So flowchart is important. Maybe once you have problem formulation, you know that what method that you want to use, okay, and try to create a flowchart and discuss. Okay, so, all right. Yeah, your final one could be like this. Okay, the initial one could be just straight line with one feedback loop, but it is okay. Okay, and it can be much detail. Okay, but this is Gantt chart. If you don't know, okay, we are using some Microsoft project. Just use Excel, which is still okay. But I work in industry. We don't have time to understand about how to use project, Microsoft project. We just use this. But they went to the project management class, so they know the sources. But then you don't need a sophisticated one. Maybe the largest one is okay. This is using Microsoft project. Yeah. For me, I think I like to see this because you can see all. Because the project can be longer. It cannot be put in the slide. So milestones, all right? Sexual study, completion of experimental setup, complete the AI modeling, completion of laboratory work, and project completion. And suddenly we just stop at here. All right, so it's 2019 now is already in January. So we see that you already lagged a lot, like 1 year. So this is milestones. So whenever that we submit a proposal, okay, we will be asked to have these milestones. Not just for us, it's also for them to monitor. So if yours are coming from grant, I'm sure that they have the milestone. But you should do yours too. And make sure that you discuss with your supervisor too, because they also have the milestone. They have to achieve something. Okay. So expected outcome, okay, novel theories, new findings, knowledge, okay, specific or potential application, okay, so the outcome can be novel theories, new findings, knowledge, can be specific or potential applications, okay, research publications, human capital, impact on society, economy, and nation, or IP, right? So when you create your proposal, okay, one part is that you have to put expected outcomes, right? You can use for example, IP, impact on society, human capital, research publication, specific or potential application, or novel theory. Okay, there are lots of examples of what you can find. But yeah, this is an idea. Okay, I think we are at the conclusion. So we started, okay, to understand the fundamental nature of research. Okay, what is research? So how can we decide something if it's a research or not? We explore the distinction between basic applied research as well as the differences between qualitative quantitative research. We crafting a clear and a researchable problem. Okay, so I guess that right now you have some idea on how to write a good research problem. You don't have to write the idea, okay, that thing. You just have to write the paragraph. Okay, but it can also help your supervisor if you put that. Maybe you get some ideas. This paragraph's identity, then next paragraph the problem, issues, and the solution. And then we delve into various types of research design. Okay, so I think that's all. Okay. I hope that at this point you have some ideas. What is research? Okay, research method and research methodology, the difference. All right, how to formulate problem. Okay, Business design maybe not that deep because there are more information you should know. But at this point, we know that there should be quantitative, qualitative method, and what should you have in research design? Okay, IB, and then DV, okay, and EV. Okay. So we only have like 1.5 hours or 2 hours. We cannot do everything. In your business methodology, how long it takes the class? One semester. One semester is like 14 weeks. Every week 2 hours. So you can imagine that I'm just taking 2 hours of this every day, the same thing. You may have can put it inside of your head, right? I think that's all for me. Yeah.